Good morning, everybody. Well, I didn't get it. I didn't get the links out to all my social media networks because I was looking for the paperwork for the renters rebate to get ready for Jimmy to sign the letter, which I have written on April 26, 2024. Oh yeah! So I have that now all put together. So I know when he comes by, picks up his rent. You just gotta sign it, and then we should be all set to bring it down to the senior center so they can copy it and give it to the appropriate department. Good morning, Krista. Which I'm sure me and Krista can bring down to them on as soon as possible, maybe on a Friday or something when we on the way to the store or something. So today will be a high of 27 degrees Celsius, not excessively hot, but you know, because I had to clean up this room here, kind of lost out of some dance time because we didn't really have time. It like took 3 hours to clean this room. Let me show you as best I can. Oh, you see the camera, it might be easier because that one's mobile. Well, kind of mobile. Over there, the couch. You can see we got most of this stuff off the couch now. We swept the floor and didn't do much with that floor over there yet, but we'll get to that. So we cleaned up a bit and throw a lot of garbage out to the dumpster. Actually, sitting on the porch, and we risked Krista's husband. Come bring it to the dumpster later on today or tomorrow. So, but we did clean up the house, a bit. And, let's get the panel open. And, so, good morning, David S. How you doing today? There we go. Good. Great screen. I hate when I press wrong buttons. I mean, come on, gotta be fast with these buttons. Anyway, so that's we see it right now. So it's, okay, someone wants to come up on panel. It's Noodles. Hold on a minute. Let me get him on. Admit one. Hello, Noodles. How you doing?
Hey, Michelle. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to get my phone situated. So, Michelle, I don't know if you saw the other night. There was something that I've kept a secret for a very long time, and it's gotten out via Seasons to telling people. I've noticed that you haven't partook in it, which I greatly appreciate. But there's certain people here in your live stream that are going to cause problems, and I'm wondering if you can maybe put some words in the blocked words list for me, so it doesn't cause me any grief or.
Well, I'm sure the mods can do that. They Tiger Kitty has access to the blocked words list, but I'm not really into heavily blocking words.
All right, so I'm gonna put the words in the blocked words list. I mean, in the private chat. Is that okay?
Why don't you okay do that, but also describe to me what exactly is the situation here.
So basically, I'm not scared of these things. I just don't like them. I don't like talking about them. I don't want them being brought up in conversation, and I do not want pictures of.
Hold on, man. I got it. All right, what's the button? Oh wow, it's not listening to you. All right, it says. All right, go ahead. No, sorry about that. All right,
yeah, so I don't like these things. All right, I'm not afraid of them. Like I've said multiple times, I am not afraid of these things. Okay, I just don't like talking about them. I don't like bringing them up. I don't like certain words. It's one of those things that just kind of like.
Well, I would just ignore the words if you can do that, wouldn't that be easier? Or just ignore them. You know, it's just blocking words to me is kind of uncomfortable to do, but
But can you possibly block the word I just put in there? I mean, is that a bad word to block?
what's the word?
You know, I
Oh,
put it in the private chat.
all right, look on the side here. All right. You're kidding me. That one word? This is a
Well,
type.
there's also things that come along with that one word, and you could just imagine. I don't like the animal. I don't even like saying it's an animal. I just don't want to hear about it. People are sending me pictures of these animals. They're putting animal emojis in the fucking chat. I don't like that, and I haven't brought it up. Now it's become a big deal because it's taken over my chat. I don't want it taking over yours, because if it does take over here, I won't be back.
All right. Let me just give my people a clue what it is. It's a type of bird. And no, it's not a turkey.
Asshole bird.
It's not a turkey. No. It's a type of bird. I don't know. It's a strange request, Noodles. I don't.
What do you mean?
Good morning, Courtney. How are you doing today?
What do you mean?
All right, so let me ask you about something that you haven't said is off topic yet. What about Seasons and you? How are you guys doing?
I'm not talking to her anymore because what she did. I'm not talking to Justin anymore. None of these people, Michelle. You have no idea. I basically cut them off because of this. See, here's the problem. Seasons knew exactly what was going on. All right. I told Seasons a while ago that I didn't like them. She used to tease me every once in a while. We stopped talking because of it a while ago. All right. Now she's brought it up. She sends me pictures of them, and the cat's out of the bag. She told Sig, she told Justin, and now everybody's taunting me in the chat with it.
Yeah.
All right. You know what, Michelle? That's exactly why. I want that on the block words list. Look, they're already putting it in there, Michelle.
Just leave it alone, Noodles. It is a type of avian. You know, it's not really. In fact, it's a very useful avian. It actually catches rats and mice. You know, they have
Michelle,
a
they're
very
disgusting.
important purpose in the system of nature.
Oh God. You know what? Let's not talk about it, okay? Please.
I'm not talking about it. I'm just bringing it up real quick. So, anyway, so you don't like them. I don't know why. But anyway, so
you want me to go through the whole spiel? Look at this traffic, man. Look at this fucking traffic. Look at this. Bumper to bumper traffic.
What?
Look at
Where are
that
they
bumper to
going
bumper.
to?
They're all going into Manhattan. I'm leaving Manhattan. I'm out of here.
Oh, I mean for work in the morning.
It's terrible. It's bumper to bumper.
Yeah. Grizz says, "Hi, Dave. How you doing? How you doing, Grizz?" Unfortunately, me and Molas has found out that the house is not available, as it is being cared for. An owner of the house is using it as a storage facility. So I'm gonna keep looking and see if I can find something like that. Maybe, Grace, I might still take you up on your offer. If nothing comes up closer to my area. No, I don't want to rent another apartment because I have no equity when you rent an apartment. Now, if it's a rent to own, like a condominium or something, then you can get some equity. need your dream interpretation.
So, Michelle, can I say something about this house? All right.
Okay.
In older houses like that, all right, usually certain animals live in those houses.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right. I don't know if you're aware. Yeah.
Raccoons.
So I highly suggest that there's certain birds that hide out in those houses and only come out at night. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I have a sneaking suspicion that house is riddled with those things, and it fucking creeps. If you go out there, Michelle, I'll never come out there. Never.
Well, unfortunately, as I said, that's not available, that house, right now. So, I'm going to have to look into another one. So I found the renter's rebate paperwork for Jimmy to sign. So I just got to get him to sign it. And then, as I said, maybe Krista can bring it down. They can copy it and give it to the renter's rebate person.
So I got a question, Michelle.
What?
If that house was livable, all right? If that house was livable, like how livable does the house have to be?
I don't know.
I mean, you kind of live in a livable place, but it's not, the best. I mean,
well, okay. Let's say from what we know about the picture. Let's just based on the picture. Number one, physically the roof looks good. Okay. The sides of it need paint. We know nothing of the well. We know nothing of the septic. We know nothing of the electrics. So we could find out, for example, that the septic system has collapsed in upon itself, meaning that a whole new septic system would have to be put in. That's going to add to the price. Okay? The well could be equally, totally contaminated and useless. Okay? So that means you have to drill a new well. Okay? That's going to add a lot to the cost of renovation to that property. Unfortunately, the house is not available, so it's not an option. But I'm sure if I found
so what needs to work in there? You need electricity. You need heat. You're gonna need
we didn't even talk about the heating
toiletries.
system yet. Yeah, so you probably would need. Electricity is kind of optional, extra in some ways. However, what is not optional is heat. Considering the fact that there's Maine, for Christ's sakes. It gets cold in Maine. Very cold. In fact, if you don't have a wood stove at the very minimum, you're going to freeze to death. Alright? You're still going to need a drinking water source. Either a cistern or a well. You're still going to need a place to poop. So you're going to need an outhouse at the very minimum. If you don't have at least those things, oh yes, did I forget food? No, I didn't forget food. But that food is important, of course. You need food. So basic needs that a person needs every day. One of them is already given by nature. Oxygen. Right? We get air for free on Earth. So we're all set there. But you need water. You need food. And you need a place to evacuate your bowels and bladder. Alright? And ideally, you want to keep warm. So you need heat. Now, if you live in an area that's very warm all year round, that's probably less of a concern. Of course, you also need to be able to get food. So you have to be able to get to the store. Right.
So let me also bring this up. I party in a cabin every once in a while, right? This cabin is probably at the most 20 by 20, at the most. I don't even know if that's accurate.
So about the size of my apartment, square footage.
Right. Well, it's probably a little bit smaller than that. Maybe it's 15 by 15. All right.
Well, because my apartment is actually 465 square feet. So
okay, it's probably Michelle. It's probably about a little bit bigger than your room. A little bit, not much, not
Okay.
much. A little bit bigger.
All right, go on with the story.
We have a wood burning stove in this cabin.
Right.
Okay, the cabin is insulated. We insulated it. The wood burning stove is probably about the size of the TV that's in your living room.
Right.
I don't know what the size. All right. That thing, Michelle, we can't regulate it. We can't regulate how hot that thing gets. So when
Actually,
you put a
can
log
to
in
some
there,
extent. You do by one of two ways. One, you either adjust the damper on it, or B, you open a window, but you still need oxygen for combustion anyway. So opening a window is actually kind of essential to do anyway, to draw air in from the outside.
Some nights it would get like 90 something degrees in that cabin.
Right.
90. So.
Right.
I'm just letting you know how difficult it is for you to regulate. You're gonna have to do all that. You're gonna have to fucking go out and bring the wood in. I mean, we were going through probably in 24 hours for something that big. We were probably going through at least maybe 8 pieces of wood a day.
Yeah.
And we were trying to keep, we would get the thing hot. It would radiate the heat. It would get to be like 90 degrees in there. That's 8 pieces of wood a day, Michelle. There's 365 days in a year. That's a lot of wood.
Wait, but that's a day. Don't worry about the summer. I mean, obviously it's good.
No, but Michelle, this isn't a house, though. This is a shack, like in the middle of the woods.
Right.
Like there's a couch in there. There's a sink. And a fucking a stove. That's it. Like a wood burning stove.
All right, so that's obviously your kitchen facilities. There's your stove, so that's where you cook on.
Yeah, so we get the stove really hot, and we put frying pans on top of it, and we cook on the top of the stove.
Yeah. But it's not a full service like wooden kitchen range like a cook stove. It's just
No, and Michelle, you also got to remember that stove, if you want it to cook something, you got to get it really hot, which means that you got to put more wood in there, right? And you got to it's going to get really hot inside. It's not, Michelle, it's a humongous pain in the ass. Humongous pain in the ass.
Yeah, so baking obviously is not an option unless you use a Dutch oven, and that's going to be usually located inside the firebox.
Well, the oven that we have, the stove that we have, again, it's a cast iron wood burning / coal burning stove.
Right.
So you can burn both. You can burn both in there.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know that it's a humongous pain in the ass.
Oh, you don't forget to clean out the ashes too every few weeks. Yeah. Kidney stone man, how are you doing, Glasgow, Dave? Yes, smoke. Oh my God, our sirens went off. They're talking about I guess tornadoes. If you can't regulate a wood stove, you got to re-rope it. Right, I think I know what you mean by that, Grace. You mean the door and the seal, or where the stove is probably letting too much air come into it because it's not giving a good tight seal. Yeah.
So it's weird. It's like, I don't think that's the issue. I think what happens is, depending on, you have to get the right size stove for the place. We found this stove. My friend's father found it, and we put it inside this place. And it fucking, I mean, Michelle, like, I'm talking 98 degrees in there. It was hot. That thing would radiate so much heat, dry heat. I mean,
they certainly will. But I've certainly been in many places where wood stove was used when the person was very experienced enough to check the seal on the stove and know how to properly adjust the damper on the front of the stove, which lets air into the firebox to get a proper burn. So usually at night you close the damper most of the way so that the flame is banked down a lot. like you said, you don't put a ton of wood in there.
No.
So,
but again, I mean, eight pieces for a 15 by 15 cabin to stay warm, to keep it warm. That's a lot of wood. That is, Michelle. That is a lot of freaking wood for 24 hours. Eight pieces.
Well, like I said, if the door seal on it is not tight, it's gonna let excessive air into the firebox. So it's just gonna cause it to just burn out of control. It's kind of like if you're I'm trying to come up with something that you might understand in a more modern appliance. It's like the gasket in your refrigerator. If the gasket in your refrigerator isn't any good, that compressor is going to be running like crazy trying to cool the refrigerator because it doesn't have a way of keeping all the warm air out. Okay, so wood stove, it's more of ballistic air. You want to keep the air input in at a certain level because if it's too much air getting in, the fires is going to burn really extra hot.
I'll be right back, Michelle. I'm going to go grab something to eat real quick. I'm freaking hungry.
Okay. Thinks that Wire has his own crowd to fund this movie. MJ says, so there's Stan CT. MJ's further back up. I love my wood cook stove. Yeah, a nice, decent Harvard cook stove, Amish made, or even an older Glenwood is a good stove to have as long as the gaskets are good. So I always kind of like the idea of having a wood stove on hand. And I am surprised how much I know about this place. Well, like I said, I'm not too picky about the wood stove thing, but I realize that, and Stan will keep reminding you what the economy is. It is because you got a president in chief that basically doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. Literally doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. And is causing us to become enemies with our former friends. We need to consider that the economy is not going to be there anymore when you need it. Infrastructures might be going out too. Pacific Gas and Electric, because of wildfires, they said they're planning on doing rolling blackouts. Not because of the heat, but because of the winds. They're afraid of another wildfire being caused by their sparking wiring in the power grid. So Pacific Gas and Electric yesterday sent letters out and alerts out to California residents saying, we might be turning your electricity off to your neighborhood because of the high winds, not because of the heat and the temperature and the power demand. But they can certainly do it for that reason too, as California is going to get kind of toasty. And they're going to have a lot of people want to plug in their electric vehicles to charge them. My friend had two old Franklin stoves. They put one outside a few years ago to keep us warm while we're watching lunar edge eclipses on a few cold nights. Hey, Smoke, I love to meet people that live here and bond over the weather. Well, there's no reason why you couldn't. I mean, they have outdoor fireplaces, I guess. An old small Franklin stove could certainly keep your porch pretty warm. And at least it'll keep all the light out so you won't have to worry about looking at the stars, having the fire basically, of a campfire basically clothing the sky for you.
Michelle, I have this thing called a Fifth Avenue bar. Have you ever had a Fifth Avenue bar?
I've heard of them. I think I used to eat them. Yeah, I think I used to get those. Oh
my God.
Oh, let me get this panel set up here. Hold on a minute. So it sounds noodles like that maybe that stove, as I said, the door gaskets might need rework to make sure that it's still providing airtight for raising the airflow. Makes sense to me. Botrix alerts, window capture. Why am I in the wrong button? You're not, but Alright, let me fix this. So window capture is not showing window capture. PR, which is a type of brand of water filter in America. Okay, so
Michelle,
what?
have you heard that AOC says she will file articles of impeachment for Supreme Court justices? She haven't said which ones yet.
Well, there's 6 that actually agree with Trump having immunity, so I don't think that's going to work, because right now they're also thinking about filing articles of the 25th Amendment to get rid of Biden as well. And then Biden's already under impeachment proceedings. So I think Biden's going to be out of there. The Connaught complex has gas grill and a full-size smoker. You sub to read Timmer. He is Okie. He has Chasing Tornadoes in the 90s. You're on it. Okay, it says smoke. Yeah, so anyway, like I said, I'm definitely looking into that kind of environment, because if for some reason the economy really takes a worse nosedive than it already is, at least I have a place to live, and I'd be able to begin the process of trying to keep myself alive, because then I would also have equity in my home as well. Yeah, well, unfortunately, how come Ocasio is not blowing a gasket on Biden? A lot of Democrats have realized now that Biden really is messed up. Because originally they thought that all of it was fake news, but then when they saw what happened on the debate, they realized that the Republicans were right.
Wait. No, they knew this guy was fucked up. They're just saying this now because they know he's going to lose the election. Michelle, why would they? Put it this way: this guy has doctors, right? Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Do you think that his doctors should lose their medical license?
Well, that's.
I mean, if Van Jones and Axelrod could
so.
say this guy's not fit. Yeah, go ahead.
You would have thought so too, that they would have gone by his medical opinion. But for some reason, they're living in denial. They don't want to accept the fact that their candidate is not capable of managing the country. They just don't want to accept it, because they realize that if they accept it, that means that they realize that they got a problem. They don't want to accept that.
It's just ridiculous that people have been talking about this guy's mental health, his stability, and now all of a sudden, because of the debate, now there's a problem. Now everybody sees it. I don't believe it. They know this guy's going to lose. They don't need him anymore, and they're going to tell him to get out of the race. I mean, think about it, Michelle. Why would
I don't think
if you
I
if you
do not
if
think
you were going
he's
to put
I do not think he's gonna win. No, I think that's obvious because they're especially after the debate, he lost even more of his supporters. A lot of them were big donors that have said in Hollywood and said we're no longer financing this campaign.
Yeah, Michelle, that was already lined up. They already knew they were going to do that. The Republicans have been calling this they called it 4 years ago.
Yes, I
They're
know
like,
they
this
have.
guy's going to run, and they're going to
And the
either he's going to
Democrats
die.
kept saying it was fake news, fake news, fake news. And then when they saw the debate and what other events have happened, they realized it ain't so fake news anymore. You know, a lot of the Democrats are in denial. They don't want to accept the fact that their candidate has lost a lot of their, his mindset. He can't think anymore. He can't cognitively understand what he's doing anymore. And they can't accept that he's lost his mind.
Yeah, Stan, look at my communities post, right? Tell me we are not in a banana republic. So now what's going on, right? Is they're going to give Trump immunity. Now they're going to start fucking prosecuting these Supreme Court justices. You know what I mean? They're just going to get rid of each other. This is going to end up in a war. I'm telling you.
It's like total annihilation. That's what it's going to do. It's going to totally destabilize the whole system. Which is related to what Stan CT's talking about. It's the fact that it's just going to.
You're going to see the first political hit, Michelle, where a political opponent is going to get arrested for killing another one. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They also suggested that he should do a drone strike on Trump. One congressman suggested that he should do a drone strike on Trump. I mean, that's kind of a bit above reasonable, if you get me. I don't think that's a good idea. And I do believe a civil war is coming, absolutely. And I believe that we're going to see our government fall. This has done a couple times in the French history of France. It's just going to collapse. The new government is going to rise up. Then they're going to try to fix that. Then that government, because it's going to be too divided, it's going to crash again. And then finally, somebody's going to say, well, the United States is too big. We need to have a smaller government. Maybe break the United States into two parts, East and West United States at the minimum. To make it into smaller regional districts. Yes.
I mean, it kind of already is like that. I mean, let's be honest.
Courtney, there would be a rebuild, but a very painful one, unfortunately. I don't know about anything that we would owe money to or anything like that. If the United Nations, at the time the U.S. economy collapses, all the other countries we owe money to are going to go to the United Nations, are going to demand that the United States pay them back. Which means that the United States will probably be divided between multiple countries.
If I was going to devise a government, right, like a total rebuild, it's called a 2-year option, right? Everything that you're involved in is going to be 2 years. Your job, right? You have to re-sign contracts, marriage, sovereign citizenship, anything like that. So if you're a sovereign citizen, you can re-sign your citizenship, or you can become sovereign and have no rights whatsoever. You can be a second-class citizen if you want. I don't know what you want to call yourself. Let these people do whatever they want. But first thing, make sure that these politicians only get 2 years. 2 years. That's it.
Well, Grizz, I disagree. I think the United States, the government itself, is going to crash. It's too top heavy. It's too large of a country. So I think what's going to happen is the United States is government is going to be split into regional governments because it's too big. It's just too large to maintain it like it is. So I think the United States will collapse because it's just too large to manage. Plus, the divisions between the different regions of the United States regarding different things are too great to, keep a cohesive government. That's one of the reasons why we're seeing what we're seeing. Is there's too many cooks in the kitchen, and they're all adding too much salt to the broth, and well, now no one can drink the broth because it's way too salty. So I think it's going to be essential to acknowledge that the United States is going to end up having to be splintered up into regional governments. If they go to the United Nations, Courtney, and they demand that we pay them back as a country, the United States will have no choice but just to admit that we're messed up. We're screwed up. Our budgets are messed up. We'll never be able to recover and pay them back. They'll be given by the United Nations Security Council or whatever is going to deal with the bankruptcy liquidation. The United States is going to end up filing the equivalent of a Chapter 7. They're just going to be split up into little territories. Again, all the assets will be sold. The United States has a lot of land, and a lot of countries want that land because a lot of it is mineral rich. Okay? So, which means you may also see countries insisting of switching it over to the United States over to their electric grid standard. So, China 240 at 50 hertz, Germany 240 volts, 50 hertz, 3-phase. You might see Japan wanting 120 volts at 100 volts at 60 cycles. It's going to start looking like Brazil. Brazil has 5 regions, and each one of them is unique, but they do have sort of a centralist government, but most of it's provincial. So, I think you're going to see the same thing happen to the United States. It's just going to end up having regional governments. Right, David. They already own land in the United States. But so what's going to happen is that all they have to do is say is the United States owes us money. In their bankruptcies, we want our assets. We want what is rightfully ours. And we also want to take over other assets that they owe us and got to liquidate so we can pay us back the money that they borrowed from us for decades. The United States is not special. Every empire before us has collapsed. We are no different. Prepare now, grow a garden, have a fresh water source, and get the hell out of the city. Now, definitely. Get the hell out of a city. You have to consider this, guys. That's one of the reasons why I would definitely consider going off grid, because we can't depend on the centralized systems being there. You may not even have money. Your money, well, all that fiat currency that we have will be useless. The American dollar will end up just like the Confederacy dollar. It's going to be useless. You could have, millions of US dollars of paper, but they won't be worth anything. You won't be able to cash them in. You won't be able to use them to pay for things. Yeah. So would they just come in and take it? No, the United Nations would probably be the one that would be responsible for maintaining the bankruptcy procedures to determine how the land is to be dispersed to the other countries. Biden just laundering money, or was. He sent money to Ukraine, and Ukraine sent money to Hunter. Ukraine covered their tracks buying worthless paintings from Hunter.
Well, I don't know if you saw, Michelle, but Zelensky's wife just bought a $4 million Bugatti car. I don't know if you know that.
I really don't know why she
Four,
needs a car anyway.
oh, it's $4 million for his wife. I mean,
It's all pretty patent. It's a real mess, guys. Just accept this. And the fact is that now the Democrats now realize that Biden is actually wheeling and dealing and doing all this diabolical stuff to his handlers. Already when they were trying to destroy the U.S., they already were trying to turn the United States into a country only on paper. Good morning, Nats. How you doing today? How's it going? How's it going? Look at the right screen here. We will be really messed up in 15, 20 years from now when the lazy millennials are in power. These sloths are too lazy even to go to grocery shopping, preferring DoorDash and such. Well, yeah, but if there's no money, because our money is worthless, and they're going to have no choice. Either they're going to have to work or they're not going to have any food to eat. And they're not going to necessarily be paid in fiat money. They might be paid in hard currency, such as stated as the type M3, which is gold and silver. So, and there may not be the entitlement programs that they entitle themselves to. Do you think it's true that we won't have money left for Social Security? If the government collapses right now, well, they said that there won't be extra money in Social Security. It wouldn't matter because our money would be worthless. Social Security depends on Social Security taxes. If they're not getting enough money in Social Security taxes paid by the employer and by the employee, then the number of people right now is working is really low. They said that we only get maybe 60% of our retirement income. The rest of it would be a giant IOU. And that's assuming we didn't collapse by 2035. But it only talks about Social Security retirement. It doesn't talk about disability, which is a completely different program. And it's going to be a time of wailing and gnashing of teeth for many seniors, I can tell you. Yeah. 2035, 2036. Well, I don't know if it's Satanism, but the system right now is unsustainable. Our money would be useless, Courtney. You can have all the paper 50 notes you want sitting in a bank account somewhere, which is usually stored electronically. Well, it means just like what happened after the situation with Cuba back in 1962 with the embargo. That means that any money you have, it's U.S. money, would be useless. Nothing. You would be rich on paper, but cash, literally cash poor. Because none of your money would be worth anything. Just like what happened with the Confederacy. No money would be worthless. No Confederate currency is worth anything. Yeah. Courtney, yes, expect a 20-25% haircut on all Social Security benefits sometime soon. Social Security was meant to be the primary source of elder income, but it's supplemental component of retirement. Right. Exactly, Stan. It is a safety net, but you're right. It is going to be seriously cut unless they reform Social Security. There is questions about that, but the problem is they're giving Social Security to illegals, and they're not paying into the system. So because they're not paying into the system, there's nothing for people that are rightfully deserving retirement because their money is eroding away.
No, because they can't. I mean, let's be honest. I'm sick and tired of this bullshit about illegal immigrants. Legal immigrants, make them legal. Make them legal. Get them working, and fucking start having them pay taxes.
You would
Well,
have
what's
thought
the
that would have
problem?
made sense, right? But it seems like
Yeah,
there's a lot of them own people that don't want to do that. The Democrats aren't even encouraging that. They're not even encouraging immigration programs, naturalization programs for these people. And these people are saying is we shouldn't have to pay anything because we're getting free everything. Yes, other countries are signing up with their own systems. For example, a lot of countries right now are considering going back to gold and silver as the backing of their money because they realize that the petrodollar is worthless. It's not based on anything. I mean, yeah, it's based on oil, but the Democrats are going to make the petrodollar useless too. And the reason's simple. Oh, this chair is so uncomfortable. We gotta get a new one. I know. Oh, well, you know what it is? Your cushion slid down. I know. Ow. This is not the most comfortable seat in the house. Trust me. This poor chair is getting so old. It's ripped. It always was a Ponzi scheme. Yeah. So your EU is also fiat currency as well. It's based on central banking. Anything that has to do with central banking, which Federal Reserve is part of, is all basically fiat currency. It's not based on anything of value.
Michelle, Comedy Flu wants to know if you can come up and apologize to everyone.
Nope. 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 No, he's not coming up here. No. Absolutely
Okay.
not. No. Absolutely not. That's one of the reasons why back in the old days the disabled used to depend on their families to help them out. You're going to see a lot of people having to return to family support because they're not going to have a system to give them the resources they used to have.
Michelle, did you know that the future of clothing is going to be stitchless?
I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work.
So
Since
there's a way to
clothing is
seam. No. Go ahead.
since most all clothing is based upon stitch work.
So what they're saying now is that there's this new material that they're going to use, and they're going to use it to, like, kind of like, it's going to like weld the clothing together, and there'll be no need for stitching anymore. I don't know if it's a tape or something like that, but there's going to be no need for stitching.
Well, then it's going to have a stitch. You're right. There are some bags that are made that way already. For example, your garbage bags are not stitched together.
Yeah. It'll be like that. But it's gonna be with like cotton and fucking all those other fabrics.
Um,
They're doing it now with like products like Cadora. I forgot what other, like, nylons, stuff like that, But
yeah.
they're saying that they're gonna start eventually doing it with fabrics
Well,
other than Cadora
unfortunately,
polymer.
systems like that, they ain't going to do much good once you have no utility power to run machinery, unless all the plants are providing their own energy to run their factories. So you might see the return of independent power generation, including water wheels. You might have to. So plants that still on the rivers can can restore the water wheels to full operation to generate electricity to keep the plants running.
You know why oil is so reliable, Michelle, and why we dig for it?
What's that?
Because we don't have to grow it. It's not something that has to grow or has to show up. It's already there. It's a form of it's a product that we can use, right, to live an everyday life, and it's just in the ground. It's right there. Like all you got to do is just find it and dig it up.
What is
You know?
asbestos? Because asbestos is something that is readily available outside in the ground. Hemp is another one. Grass is another one.
No, but you got to grow that shit.
Yeah, but most people get lots of wild grasses in the wilds anyway. You know.
Yeah, but so once you start harvesting that, right? They know how much they need. They know how much is out there. You do the first crop, fine, you got it, right? You take
Right.
whatever's out there. You got to wait for it to grow back, and sometimes it might not grow back 100%. You might only get 80%. One year you might only get 50%. One year you might only get 60. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But we'll be honest, Noodles, our modern society always depended on naturally grown fibers. For a long time, that was the way clothing was made. Cotton,
Yeah.
wool. Wool was kind of grown. You think about it, you raise the sheep, then make the wool, right?
All right.
Hemp, other materials that are naturally grown materials, silk, all that stuff has been processed or grown somehow, some way. Even grass for grass skirts is made, or is grown anyway, to make the grass skirts. It's a natural material. That's what human beings have always still continue to use, even with all the industrial modernization, modern technology. We still depend on a lot of natural fibers for clothing. A scary sign when the draft has been restored as it was. Yes, I know. And now women are a part of it too. They always want it to be equal. Well, unfortunately, that means that they're likely equally to get shot at. So, it's
And raped, by the way. Not only will you have to worry about getting shot at women, you're going to have to worry about getting raped.
you're
Yep.
gonna be dealing with the front lines. You're gonna be going out there.
Oh, can you imagine? Can you imagine a bunch of guys? Right? There's a bunch of guys out there that have not been home for about a year. Right? They're eating whatever they can, killing people, and all of a sudden they come up on a nice piece of ass with a helmet. What do you think's going to happen?
Oh,
What do you think's going to happen?
what about the women themselves? Though, how this is going to affect them? Because a lot of women are going to be very traumatized by being in a war zone.
Oh, really? Well, good. Now you're gonna know how it feels, and again, you're gonna deal with rape too. I mean, these women that are gonna get captured. I mean, it's gonna happen, right? But what do you think's gonna happen to these girls? You think they're just gonna throw them into prison? No.
I know me and Lumi are going to be immune to the draft because of our physical infirmities.
Plus, you're a billion years old, Michelle. They're not gonna
Um, well, I also have a bad hip and bad knee. It's would prohibit me from being serving in the military. When I got to high school, I tried to get into the Navy, just for the hell of it, and unfortunately, I wasn't eligible. But I really did want to consider serving in the Navy, but that didn't happen. So, oh well. You can't say I didn't at least give it a try. Um, yeah, but you know what? It's all about Satan's plan. Those of us who know what is going on know when it's time to get out of Dodge. We're not going to stay and get abused like that because people are not stupid. They're not going to sit there and allow somebody to cause grave damage to our people. People are going to eventually tell other people and say, you know what? We're not going to be part of that. I mean, that's what the Jehovah's Witnesses, or for the most I understand, most of them did not serve in the military. And I believe very few Amish did either. You know, whereas, of course, the Mormons served in the U.S. military. But, I mean, how long is it going to be before the draft realizes that the recruits, the conscripts that they're getting in, all have disabilities, all are in multiple mind-altering drugs called psychic medication, and then they realize that they're going to have to turn away a lot of people. You know, then they might say, well, what was the point of instituting the draft if we're turning away 80% of the people that come in as conscripts? Does that mean that we need to make our demands easier? Or should we only work with the 20% that are eligible?
Michelle, I had a friend in high school, whose brother, they were Koreans. His younger brother, I graduated in '98 with this guy, and he
Okay.
had a younger brother who graduated, I believe, in I want to say 2000.
Okay.
You know, whatever, because I think they were the class of 2000. Anyway, so the 9/11 happens, right? His brother joins the military. I think he became an Army Ranger or something like that, right?
Okay.
Something like that. He ends up dying, and it sucks. You go to the funeral or whatever, and his brother's telling me, he's like, yeah, my brother joined. I didn't realize they were never citizens. They were there on some kind of visa with Korea or something like that. They
Right.
grew up. I remember them growing up with me. They're whatever, but they never had citizenship. And the brother did that to get citizenship. He joined them. He joined the military, and they said
Right.
if you do your tour or whatever, you come out, it'll give you citizenship.
Yes.
I kind of a feeling like maybe that's what they're going to do with all these illegals.
Yeah, it might be.
Maybe they're going to give them citizenship and be like, all right, you're off to war. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be waiting for people to get citizenship. But I think it's still a bit of a messed up way to do it. In fact, a lot of my relatives got into the military for that reason many, 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 many years ago. In World War II, a lot of my family that were still just came right over from Ellis Island. That's exactly what they did. They joined World War II, and a lot of them now had established their citizenship in the United States. And quite a few of them are lucky they didn't die, but I guess it's one way to become a citizen. It's not exactly the easy way to do it. Twitch says, oh, that's just a notification. Americans are extremely soft. We haven't experienced war on our own soil or lack of completely empty store shelves. Standing 4-hour lines for a loaf of bread and a slab of cheese. No, we haven't, Stan. That's very true. So, I think this is one of the reasons why I said, and then you have said, Stan, and Grace would probably agree with me, is if you can get the hell out of being in a place that depends on utility power and services like that, and being independent, you're more likely to survive. But it will take a lot more work than it was just to pay the utility guy. But at least you'd have the option. And then you'll go insane to the prospect of living day by day. That's true, Stan. The majority of people alive today will never part of the Great Depression. Nope. And compared to the Great Depression, the Great Recession was just a big bump in the road. Um, so, it's saddening. It's the truth. So I think you're going to see another shakeout in the United States. I think you're going to see another beans and cornbread. Well, you're lucky if you even get that much. You're lucky if you get some. You have to grind your own wheat and flour, and then you can make your own bread. That might be the only option you might have to get bread, is to actually grow your own wheat, mill it, and make your own flour to make your own bread.
Michelle, Slingshot Warrior just called me, and he said he's in dire straits. So we might have to get behind Justin and help him out a little bit.
What kind of dire straits?
We're going to find out. He's going to go live later, tell us.
Alright. So you're going to be going to talk to him on the phone about it?
I already talked to him, and I said, dude, if you need help, like, let me know. And he's like, no, I'll take care of it. And I was like, well, ask your fans if they'll help. You know, not everyone's perfect. Like, people need help. People want to help. You know what, Michelle? There was some guy I was talking to online the other day, and the guy's bummed out. His wife left. Took the kids, whatever. And I said to him, you know, what makes me feel good, and I don't know if you're going to hate me for saying this, but when I go out to your house and we accomplish something and you feel good about it and you're happy,
Right.
It makes me feel happy. You know?
I'm glad
it makes me feel happy. So,
I'm glad it makes you feel happy too, because, like I said, now I like when you come out once in a while to visit. I know it's a lot of travel time and stuff like that.
Yeah, but my point is, Michelle, like, sometimes, like, when you guys are bummed out, the best thing to do is get involved and help someone else out, and it'll make you feel good. It'll make you feel good about yourself. It'll make you feel good about the situation. You'll have something accomplished. It's a good thing.
And you know what? That's also brings up a valid point too. Is that more and more, especially now, we need more and more of each other's support to survive things right now in life. There's just, you can't really do it as much on your own anymore. You know, I think you're going to see more and more people realize that we need to band together during the times of tribulation. Because being the lone wolf also means likely you're going to end up dying alone too, if you don't work with the community.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. You know, yeah. I'm just saying, like, you know, if you guys aren't feeling good, go out and help someone. It'll make you feel better. I'm telling you.
Right. For example,
it'll make you forget about your problems.
It makes you feel better when you help someone with skills that you know that maybe they lack. That's the reason why we have communities in the first place.
I mean, Michelle, I don't know about you, but I like seeing people smile, right? I don't like seeing people cry. Crying is boring to me. Crying is worthless. I don't get any joy or pleasure to seeing people cry. I love seeing people laugh. I love seeing people smile. I love seeing people being happy. You know, it's worth money.
Stan says, I'm going to go further back up here. The Great Depression 101, Hard Times, an oral history of the Great Depression. Okay, there's a link that Stan just posted. Smoke said, Slingshot Warrior blocked me because I said his Goblin song was definitely white music. Like, WTF I thought was white themed. Chris said there's a war coming for you that you can't win no matter how much money you have and how much you plan. Without God's blessing, you will lose. Right, exactly, Chris. Courtney says that doesn't surprise me, David. SMH. That goes back to what he said. They caught quite a few Chinese tourists taking pictures of the government buildings and military installations. That doesn't surprise me at all. Smoke, she's rolling on the floor laughing. David has said, I just ordered a book 2 stand. And last one says, we need a good cry once in a while, though. Yeah, but I guess I want to talk about something that you see in my Discord about Cole Nicole there. Stuff that she's been promoting my Discord. Noodles, maybe you can answer this for me. Why would someone want to have a channel that all they do is talk about tearing each other down so much? I don't understand what's so exciting about that.
So people like critiquing others. I noticed that they like doing that online. But here's the
Critiquing or
thing.
shredding? It's more like they're shredding. They're not critiquing. They're more like they're just.
Yeah, I'm trying to be right. I'm trying to be nice about it, and I think Nicole's wasting her time. But Michelle, I don't know.
I told her,
I noticed.
I said, Nicole, let's come to my channel and check out a channel that's not trauma based. At least you might find it a little more enjoyable. It sounds like something. Yeah. It's like imagining sticking, pulling out hangnails and needle nose pliers every day, or sitting there and basically let someone sticking stilettos in your chest every day. That's the way I see the drama scene. It's like. It's not an environment that's helping encourage positive well-being. It's one that's like almost like you want to be a sadist to yourself and subject yourself to undue pain every single time you go on live stream. That's all it is pain and causing others pain. Almost like a sadomasochist. I can't see that. I've sat through it. I was the target of some of these people. I can never imagine wanting to voluntarily put myself through that every single time you live stream.
People can't get enough, Michelle. I don't know.
Yeah. Courtney said, Michelle, if Nicole gets mad at you, she'll report your channel. Just to be careful, please. Well, unfortunately, if she tried reporting my channel, in all reality, what would she report it on? Anything she did would basically go up in smoke because my channel is in compliance with YouTube. It has been from the beginning. Only very rarely have we ever bent the rules. So what would
it seems like reporting channels don't work anymore. I think that was like old YouTube when people got away with that. I don't think anyone's listening anymore. YouTube is losing money.
YouTube is going to look at her report. They're going to watch the video. They're going to go, there's nothing wrong with this channel. And then, if anything, she's going to basically find herself, in that case, under serious suspicion. And then it's like the kid who kept crying wolf. The only thing that's going to happen eventually, the wolf is going to come up and he's going to bite them in the ass. That's the reality. It's not really, or like the kid that keeps pulling fire alarms in school thinking it's funny. One day when the fireman finds out who it is and he gets fined and arrested for causing a disturbance by pulling in a false alarm, it's the same deal. If the person that she's reporting has done nothing wrong and is in compliance with YouTube, and YouTube recognizes that, they're going to go, you again, right? Now, wait a minute, you already said Michelle was doing blank and that, and we went to her channel, we're not seeing any of that. I think you're just a troublemaker, and that's what's going to happen. Already lost numerous channels for posting pictures of people's minor children. That's a bad example. That's a good example of what I'm talking about. So, you're doing that, which is a violation of the terms of service. Then you're going to lose. You're going to lose because the government, YouTube and the law enforcement are going to go, why are you trying to strike a channel that's doing nothing wrong? When we see from your history that you yourself have created problems. Also, I don't know anything of the people she's talking about on her description of her videos. I'm not even gonna go through read them. They sound like they're encoded. Like her definitions
But
are.
you know Rachella.
I
You
know
gave your nudes to
Rachella,
Rachella.
yeah.
That's who she's talking about.
I know she's talking about Rachella, a couple of them, yeah. But doesn't that get kind of boring? I'm talking about the same old people saying that the same old people are doing the same old problems. No, I could never sit through there and watch that every day. I would absolutely go nuts. You know, she's not going to grow her channel like that. That's not going to work on YouTube anymore. The days of Jerry Springer type YouTube channels are coming to a close. They're not going to keep going like that. No one's going to want to support that content. Even if she never lost her channel, no one is going to want to sub to that. Nobody. By the way, I met a new person yesterday in Winston. I believe his name was either Brian or Ryan. He's an older guy. After I did my video yesterday, we talked for a little bit. I gave him one of my cards. He said what I was talking about was interesting in the video I was doing, and so maybe you might see another local resident come visiting the channel. And I think that's kind of cool. I'm trying to establish myself with a local community as well.
What did Ryan or Brian talk to you about?
We just talked about just saying hi, everyday stuff, briefly about the weather and how my channel got started, why I have elf ears, and it was kind of an interesting conversation in the sense that I got a chance to meet a new person. He thought my channel sounded like it would be something worth watching for him. I said it's for more for older people, which is within their age group. He said, like the morning show, we get together, we congregate, we drink coffee. You bring coffee to your house, I drink coffee at my house, and we talk about stuff. And I said, that's what we do. It's definitely not for kids, in the sense most kids are not going to want to sit through this stuff.
Michelle, if Skynet walked you, right, and started talking to you, do you think you would know it was him?
You think we know? Well, you were talking about Skynet?
Yeah.
I haven't talked to Skynet recently at all.
Yeah, no. So what I'm saying is, like, Skynet walked up to you at Cumberland Farms. Do you think you would know it was him if he started talking to you?
Yeah, I know who Skynet is. So as I remember his face. So, and I recognize his voice, just like I recognize Paul's face and voice as well. That would be kind of interesting if they ever both showed up in Winston, given that Paul lives all the way in Michigan. But Skynet is closer than Paul, but and I met Skynet in person, so I know who he is. I know who he looks like. For the most part, he's a little bit of a comedian. He just wants to have fun, which I understand that. I think we all kind of want to have fun at this day and age because we need to laugh once in a while. And that's what makes the show so interesting is that we cover so many different things in this show. It's not. I'm just gonna see how we're doing here with the status here. We're still green. That's good. And we have currently 17 minute 52 second engagement. We had a total of 72 views. Okay, I know it's not a huge number of views, guys, but the point is that more people are sticking around and to watch the content. Now, let me ask you a question, Noodles. When you were pushing that vertical video thing or that portrait mode, what was your engagement time? How much engagement did you normally have on your shows?
I don't know. How do you find that out?
You find out at the end of your stream. It'll tell you how many minutes people are watching your show for on your phone.
Usually it says about 10 minutes.
Oh. Okay, so well, that's good, I guess. Ideally, the longer you can get your audience engaged, the more YouTube is likely going to recommend your channel to the algorithm because that's what they want. They want to see channels how people that are going to sticking around for a long time. Um. So. Um. So here's another spammer over there on Twitch. Hello, sorry to be bothering you. I want to offer you promotion of your channel, viewers, followers, views, chat bots, etc. The price is lower than competitor. Nah, I don't think so. Don't thank you. I don't want to have invalid traffic problems over on Twitch. But I finally did get a vertical short. I've done shorts that worked out okay. The red hair wig one really got a lot of views. Views is nothing without watch time, and watch time is the one that YouTube wants to see. All right, because like if you only got, you can have 1,000 views, but if you're the only one's only watching for like 2 minutes a shot, that doesn't mean you're doing well. That means people are just browsing through, find your channel, watch it for 2 minutes, find it boring, and leave. But if the content is engaging, they stick around. And that's what YouTube wants to see. Courtney says, it's all the weed I smoke. It keeps the memory sharp. Smoke says, LOL. Well, I think that's one of, but what's gonna happen to places like YouTube though? YouTube is an environment that's changing too. The viewership's changing. The viewer, it's not like it was say in 2020. It's a completely different platform in the sense of a lot of changes. You know, do you think YouTube is going to continue to survive? You know, within say 4 years, or do you think YouTube eventually is going to be like just like the U.S. government kind of collapsing on its own self?
I think YouTube's going to be highly regulated very soon. As content creators, Michelle, you don't have any representation whatsoever. So you could be a million sub channel, you could be a 5 sub channel, right? There's no representation whatsoever.
Right. Yeah,
That's not good.
true. You know, YouTube would
every
argue.
company has the human resources. You're employed by YouTube. Your employer is YouTube.
Right. Basically, we're like subcontractors in a way. Yes, that's true.
Right. They say that we have a partnership. They use the word partnership. The problem is that in a partnership, I'm not paying YouTube. YouTube is paying me.
Right.
I'm creating revenue for them, and they're giving me a piece of the action.
Right.
That's like every other job. Every other job you ever have, you're creating whatever. They're getting a piece of it. It's business, right?
Right.
But you have no representation on this platform. Nobody's going to represent you. No one can. If you have a problem, who are you going to call? AI? That's who they give you. That's what they give you.
Well, that's where the FairTube Union was trying to do, was to provide a voice to represent the YouTubers, and Google fought them, since creation by when it became the YouTubers Union. But I think it still exists because I know I worked with FairTube a couple years ago to fight my defense for my channel's rights.
So your channel has no rights. That's the whole thing. So YouTube comes up with this list of rules, right?
Right, terms of
service. But if you read it, it says basically YouTube can take away your channel for whatever reason they just make up a reason and take it away.
Right.
You have no right to that channel. That's why when it comes to people making revenue, money, working, There's no other facility on planet Earth that you can that can do that to you like YouTube. So the government has to step in and say, listen, this is a humongous monopoly. You're putting stuff out there, you're hiring people, you're paying people, and you're treating them like shit.
Right.
You can't do that.
Well, that's also reasons why anyone who realizes that diversifies their portfolio and works on multiple channels. Because of that exact reason. Because one day, YouTube could just totally go up in smoke, and guess what? We may not even get paid for, that months of work, because all their money might be tied up in, court fees or whatever, and then they're like, sorry, we can't pay you. But if you at least get money coming...
YouTube's gonna be exactly like Amazon and Walmart very soon. They're gonna have a piece of everyone's action, and as soon as the government gets involved, that's how it's gonna work.
Oh, you're right. It already has a large piece of everybody's action. It's one of the largest social media platforms in the world.
Okay, but they're gonna start demanding things from you, like an employer does.
Well, I lost this channel. Well, Stan, let me tell you right now. That depends on how I lost this channel. Was it because of something I did? Or was it just because of something that was out of my control? Now, I would lose a lot of content. This channel is a lot like a scrapbook. If you ever go back and look at my channel, there's a lot of stuff that has happened in my life that some historian of MicheleMarieDalene is going to want to look at, because there's so much of my backstory here on this channel. It's like a giant scrapbook, and people have to put their whole lives into their channels. It's a treasure trove of pieces of information and facts that historians would want to go through. And I got a feeling a lot of them already have gone through a lot of old YouTube channel content and said, look what I found. I found a little bit about personal experience with people discussing, the Great Recession, and people talking about how, they're struggling, and that's a larger thing. But maybe individually they might say, well, gee, what is Michele's favorite food? What does Michele like to do? How much does Michele and Lumi have a tight bond? And things like that. So individual people that want to research individual channels, they're going to go to because they want to know the person behind the scenes. And people like noodles that live stream every single daily event you do, they're going to give historians a lot of information about you. And they're going to depend on your YouTube channel for a lot of your backstory of your history.
I think, Michele, this is what I think is going to happen. When they start regulating this to the point where you're going to need a license to do it, I think that they're going to look at these channels and they're going to have value. And you got to see where the value is going to be. So, for instance, in 100 years, the value might be the content. You're right. You'll probably not get the money. Someone will own it. And they'll buy it very cheap and sell it for a profit. And I think that's where a lot of this...
I do not think YouTube is going to be around 100 years.
Oh no, I'm not saying YouTube. I'm saying the channels. For instance, the way we're doing YouTube, in the next 10 years, I don't think it's going to exist. I think you're going to need you're going to need a license to do it. Kind of like how these taxis out in Manhattan, they get these shields, these placards. They pay like $1 million for them, and they just they make money off them. I don't know, but I think that's how it's going to be with social media. I think you're going to need like some kind of license. And these channels, like for instance, your channel, it's got tons of it's got tons of hours on it.
Yes, David, that's a lot of them did become that. But
you might not be able to.
I think, but
you might not be able to get the license.
Noodles, I will say one thing: is that David has pointed out a lot of the Woodstock hippies became millionaires And a lot of them are involved in social media now, operating the companies that make them happen. But I think YouTube is coming to the point where they're going to start requiring that you have to show your driver's license or other
Well,
issued ID to make
but there's going
sure
to be
that
a
you're
reason
not a
why. There's going
troll,
to be a reason why.
which is, I think, it should have been done from day one. I think YouTube should have said, hold on, I'm not even going to give you the right to shoot a video for 15 minutes to shoot your mouth off. You're going to have to show me ID and to verify you. And they should have been doing from day one. If they had done that, there probably would have been a lot less trolling because they would have known
It's not going to be. It's not going to be as easy, Michelle, as just showing ID. It's not. They're not going to. There's going to be a reason why you got to show ID, and there's going to be a bunch of other things they have to jump through hoops to do. They're not going to stop anyone from making comments, Michelle, but they will stop people from creating content. Content is going to be called something else in the future. All right, it's going to be worth a lot more money. All right, because a lot less people are going to be doing it.
right.
I'm telling you.
And so channels like Cool Nicole's channel, for example, that content is going to end up in the dumpster because it's not really anything that's going to benefit people in the long term. You know, whereas my channel may be considered somewhat useful. Maybe the videos demonstrating products might be more useful. But sociologists might go, well, I'm interested in Michelle's channel because she's talking about things that were pertinent at the time she did the video. So to a sociologist, my channel might be more valuable than, say, to a technology person who's going to say, I'm sorry, but a fat woman sitting in a chair at a desk talking about politics doesn't really help explain the technology side of things.
Well, just remember this, Michelle. AI is the future. So whatever is going to be making you money in the future, Michelle, it's going to be AI. I don't know if AI is going to use this content for something, but I have a sneaking suspicion that everything that we say, the way the emotions that we talk about, will be used in the future by these programs. I'm telling you, and it's going to be worth money
to enhance their knowledge, learning skills. Yeah, I think so.
For some strange reason, AI wants to replicate what human beings do for human beings or to interact with human beings. And it's a want, and the wants are more important than your needs. And I'm telling you, this is going to be worth a lot of money, Michelle. Maybe not to you, because you might be dead, I might be dead, but it's going to be worth a lot of money to someone in the future. And unfortunately, just like Van Gogh and a lot of great artists, they never get to see their fame.
But you know what the sad truth is, though, Noodles? Is what we are is stored as magnetic bits in a hard drive in the Google's data center. If Google ever shuts down the data center and then later dismantles it, what happens to all those videos? They're nothing. It's going to be like the Great Library of Alexandria. It's just going to burn to the ground. That's it. Maybe if you're lucky, you might find somebody who got an old Google hard drive with some of the videos on it. And you know how the old people collect old stuff, you know? And they may be able to read them and find some of the files and put them back to content for historical sake. But more than likely, well, what happened is that Google would probably just, if they close, would just sell all their assets, and all the hard drives and servers are going to end up in a million places, besides possibly being turned into scrap. And the few video hard drives that still remain are going to be sought after by historians because those are going to be worth, like they call them, the Dead Sea Scrolls. Some of them might be reformatted to be used for storing other things, and some, you know, will be preciously maintained and scrutinized and studied to find out all about a period of time that is lost.
Well, knowledge is power, Michelle. And there's a lot of knowledge within words that are said. at a specific time, specific date. What were people feeling? What did people know?
Right.
It's bigger than you think.
And
I believe it's bigger
sociologists
than
and
you think.
historians are going to be looking for that kind of information. Just like archaeologists go dig up pieces of ancient history, sociologists and historians are going to do the same thing. If they go through a old Google data center and find all those hard drives and go, wow, look at all this content we have access to. We can now catalog it,
Well,
retrieve it.
it's not going to be a big deal. Yeah, but it's
Well,
not going to be a big deal until they can process it efficiently. And once that processing becomes a thing, Michelle, then it'll be worth money. We'll never see it. I'm telling you right now. There's no
I
way.
know, well,
I don't think technology is going to get to
imagine
that
what
point.
happens if humanity basically devolves and then we lose all our technological smarts and exo sociologists from other planets or historians go through those same archives. They're going to be looking to find out all the history of humanity because they're going to find this, mesmerizing to know how do we go from being such a technologically advanced society to going back to, stone knives and bear skins. That's going to probably be of interest to them. It's scary to think about, but the truth is America, the collapse of America could be very well the beginning of the collapse of the human modern civilization.
Michelle, I got a question for you.
What?
If you know what the Europeans did to the Native Americans.
Yeah, I know what they did to Native Americans. It was crazy. It was
For that to happen in 2024, 21st century to the United States, what would have to happen to the United States for that to happen? Like, look, what we did to the Native Americans. What would have to happen here?
Well, let's see. Who would be the people conquering America? Would it be E.T. or would it be another?
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. I was like, it would have to be an advanced civilization for them to do that.
They
right?
also would manage to conquer Europe as well. But I think first thing that's going to happen is Americans and the Europeans and other countries are going to destroy their own economies and their own civilizations by their stupid policies. But so the point is if there's no one to read the files and there's no one there to be able to provide electricity to make the data centers run, all those hard drives are going to be sitting dormant on shelves. So ET might be able to find a way to make those hard drives work and be able to recover our history. Because I think the people of the world are going to destroy themselves way before worry about another civilization coming in and taking us over. I think that's going to happen first. They already see it. We already see it. We already see the decimation of America. It's disturbing. It really is disturbing. But unfortunately, it's too big of a boulder. It's already rolling down the hill. It's getting up speed. It's getting momentum. And it's crushing people flat left and right. Because people can't stop the juggernaut. It's just coming. All of our society is coming apart. It starts out with a simple idea, and then that simple idea snowballs, and then that snowballing idea takes on more ideas and becomes bigger and more ugly, and it's disturbing. But that's the reality of what's happening with the world today. Our civilization is not going to be able to stand because it's going to get crushed by the giant boulder that's coming down the hill, like an avalanche of rocks. A whole bunch of rocks is going to destroy everything. Yellowstone goes off. There you are. Literally, you're going to have pyroclastic flows, ash clouds. There are going to be definitely add to avalanches on the physical geological level, that's going to destroy a lot of infrastructure as well. I don't really welcome the Teowaki event, but unfortunately, it is a thing that's going to happen. Teowaki, the underworld as we know it, is already happening. We're already seeing it. I mean, my ancestors, that grew up in the 1960s and say passed away in the early 70s, would have no idea what they would expect to see in 2024. They would never recognize it. The America that they grew up with, the Europe that they grew up with, is not the America and the Europe that they know today. It's completely different. The climate change people are so ignorant beyond me. They have no clue how dangerous this planet is, and it always renews itself. Yeah, they're always talking about the air, but what about the geological formations and the geological system of seismic events within the Earth's core and crust? The planet is way more powerful than you think. Itty bitty human being worrying about the CO2 in the atmosphere, you're not going to put scrubbers on volcanoes, and you're not going to be able to try to tame the planet like that. They think that they can do everything. Oh, yeah, little itty bitty humans are so small. All the planet has to do is send up Pinatubo, or send up Yellowstone, or send up a few of the other super volcanoes, and you're done. All right? That's the reality. Now we're back to bear skins and stone knives, because that's all it takes. We only have the infrastructure we have now because the planet is allowing us to have it. But trust me, the Earth, when she gets mad, it's going to take us all off. It's going to shake us all off of her like a big giant dog shaking off fleas. It's just the reality. And that's true. You got asteroids and comets. That's from outside of the planet. I'm talking about what's going on within the planet. But then all it takes is another asteroid like hit the Yucatan Peninsula to cause a chain reaction of causing all the super volcanoes to burp and fart, and all of a sudden we're all basically in trouble. That's reality. And so many people can
Michelle, the reality is that I just got these amazing Korean sweet peppers. Have you ever had them, Michelle?
No.
You want to see one?
Look
at that Korean sweet pepper. Look at that.
Okay, well, so what does it taste like?
Look at sweet pepper. Oh, so good. Oh my God, garlic.
Someday next time you and I come up, we gotta go to a Brazilian restaurant. I'm really serious.
Yeah.
I want to try some Brazilian food.
Now, Michelle, I also want to show you what else I got. I got this stuff called chicken katsu. This is chicken katsu.
Why did they call it that?
It's breaded fried chicken, okay, with some katsu sauce called chicken katsu.
What's
I'm going to pour the katsu sauce.
I have no idea what that is.
It's cat blood and soy.
I don't think they can serve. I don't think they can serve that in America.
There's some chicken cat blood sauce.
So, do you know any Brazilian restaurants in your area to go to?
Yeah, there's tons of them.
Because I'd like to try some Brazilian food. I want to try some falota and planchi. I want to see what all those two taste, because falota is the national dish of Brazil, and planchi is another well-known Brazilian dish. I want to try both of them.
Look at this, Michelle. Look at the cabbage.
No, it's not real blood, guys. Unfortunately, the FDA would never allow them to serve real blood, so...
Oh my god, that was the sweet peppers. Mmm.
Well, like I said, if you, I mean, I wouldn't totally dismiss flooding, though, David. As I think you're going to definitely see a ring of fire. There's definitely going to be belching a lot of pyroclastic flows and ash, and that's going to have a serious thing. Plus, the earthquakes is also a reality too. No, it's not. I know it's not, Miss Ann. I know that. But I suspect that Dave has got Noodles has got a lot of different food he's tried. What kind of food do you like the most?
I love Brazilian steaks and chicken gizzards. Michelle, they sell chicken gizzards.
Oh, I probably skipped
Brazilian...
the chicken gizzard, but the steaks sound good. Well, what about food that you eat every day? What's your favorite everyday food?
Take a fucking guess. A wild guess.
They can guess. Pizza?
Ding, 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 ding.
Yep. I eat a lot of that too. I just bought 2 frozen pizzas for today and tomorrow. Today's movie night, guys, is 7. We have a lot of movies already sitting in the queue. So we're gonna randomly just grab 2 movies up we haven't shown yet. And so today is gonna be movie Mulligan Stew. So I'm just gonna grab 2 films and throw them up there. So let's see how they go. Yeah.
Oh my god.
You know, pizza, by the way, can be healthy for you. They never said that pizza cannot be healthy. In fact, there's no reason why pizza cannot be healthy.
Well, I remember hearing in health class that based on the food pyramid or whatever the hell it is.
Which one?
There's
so many food pyramids now, Noodles. I mean, it's ridiculous.
The one from 1997 or 1996.
Right.
They were saying that pizza was probably the perfect food.
Oh, it can be, depending on what toppings you put on it. How you doing, Mojo? Welcome to the show. Hello, unofficial Chris Bliss. Welcome to the show, both of you. And yes, Miss Ann, I should give you a hello too. Sorry, I didn't actually give you hello, but welcome to all 3 of you today. And yeah, so I mean, there's definitely a lot of questions about, why do people keep thinking that humanity is so super smart and is going to be able to control the Earth when the Earth is just being patient with you? Once the Earth gets pissed, you're not going to be able to stop the Earth. It's just going to trash you. Homemade pizza can be healthy, absolutely. You can pick the right ingredients to make the right pizza. Just like Papa John says, right? Better ingredients make better pizza. It's
Papa John's, that's true.
Yeah, Papa John's pizza is pretty good. I've had it many years ago. The Earth is much older than a few thousand years. It's millions of years old, and the human race, as well as the giants, have been through at least 7 or 8 extinctions. And that's just it. The fact of the matter is that so many extinctions in the past, humans already had developed technology, which we... Okay, let's fix my ear here. Itchy inside here. We have had a lot of ancient technology knowledge in the past. What happened to all that? Well, that's a great question because we have to keep relearning from our history. And that's, again, one of the reasons why historians go through a lot of research into the things of the past, is to rediscover what we have lost. And YouTube is going to be important for the future for that same reason. And so, you know, it's kind of interesting how human race has had several extinction events, including but not limited to the ice ages, the Little Ice Age, the Black Death of Europe, many famines, floods, many Earth-level extinction events that weren't quite total, but yet we're still trying to find out our historical past. And yeah, we have worked with ancient aliens in the past. There's no doubt about it. In fact, E.T. may have been working with human beings from the beginning.
According to the Bible, they have.
According to ancient astronaut theories, they have too. So,
I again, miracles versus knowledge. I have a problem with people speaking like that. I don't think that miracles are really just that. I think it's knowledge, and the day that they cure death, is that going to be a miracle? Or is that going to be because of science? I don't know.
Well, we know that God is definitely was an extraterrestrial, and we know that He indeed gave the genetics to first man, because he was the one who impregnated first woman, which is Lucy. So you have all this junk DNA, which is ET DNA. Where does it come from? It's not from anything on Earth. So did God infuse His DNA into the first woman to create the first semblance of humanity? Yes, I think
Not sure.
so.
Not sure what people are going to believe, but Michelle, what you start asking people is if they believe they have free will. A lot of people don't believe that, and once you start realizing why they don't believe it, you start realizing who you're talking to.
Yeah. Do I think people have free will?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of complicated. I would say on Earth we have partial free will. I don't think we have total free will.
Why? Why do you say that?
Absolutely, Michelle, I agree with you. The prehistory humans. I would say prehistory being pre-modern history. Humans did have a lot of knowledge that we are just starting to discover. Even things in ancient Egypt, we're seeing and finding more and more information, for example, that proves that the Great Pyramid was a power generator. Now, think about that. It was a chemical power generator. What were they doing with the power? They were running light bulbs. What? What do you mean light bulbs? That they were using electricity. Instead of running it through wires, they were using technology that Tesla was trying to create.
You ever think maybe humanity gets to a certain point every single time, and then there's this conundrum where,
yes,
if everyone, so for instance, like cell phones, right? we don't know. We know what they are, but we don't know how they work. I mean, really, do you really know how it works? Could you build one? No. You need a bunch of things to make it work correctly. You
Right,
need
right,
a sequence of operation for it to work correctly.
right.
Once that knowledge is gone, people are in the Stone Ages. you're back to square one.
Yes, and then our ancestors, our future generations are gonna go digging through all those old books and stuff, whatever remains, and they're gonna start researching it, and they're gonna start building on what that ancient research, which is for them is ancient, and they're gonna start building something newer. See, I think that's what happens is we get to a certain point, we implode, and then our future generations find some of our information out. They continue on with the legacy, they implode, and then their generations do the same thing with them. So very slowly, but humans slowly advance to a higher level. But there's always this time of implosion. It's like it's almost like it has to happen.
You know, I totally buy that. I totally agree with that. I think there's
Yes,
some kind
David, that's what they're thinking now. And they also are using the ley lines for power. Isn't that funny? Because whenever you play the game World of Warcraft, the Blood Elves are doing the same thing, tapping power from the ley lines to power Quathlas and the Ghostlands. We're using the power from the ley lines, our ley lines, to produce electricity. That's why you have these things called sanctums. East Sanctum, West Sanctum, North and South Sanctum are producing three-phase power, which is going through converters to provide power for lighting and other things that they were using in Silvermoon. I know it's a game, but we're seeing the same thing also in our ancient history. The Egyptians were using this energy. They were sending it to space. They're sending it to the star systems so that ships could be pushed along by power of a laser beam. That's what they think was going on with the Great Pyramid. It was a laser transmitter. It was transmitting laser power out into space. It was to be used as propulsion system.
Well, why do people insist that if you were born 1,000 years ago, you're just an idiot? You know what I'm saying? Like 2,000 years ago, 6,000 years ago, these people were idiots. They were so stupid. That's how everyone perceives people of the past. I don't think they were. I think it's just
not anymore. They don't. Not anymore. They don't. In fact, think about this: the Roman Empire. I mean, was one of the most successful empires because they managed to use the resources of water to provide drinking water and water for flushing toilets into Rome using aqueducts. Okay? Now, they were using gravity. They weren't using pumps, and yet they were managing to get water distributed thousands of miles away to Rome using aqueducts. So, now imagine if Rome had not crashed, if Rome did not get deteriorated from the outside in. Eventually, they would have had electricity. Eventually, they probably would have realized that they could take a water wheel, and then using some technology of magnetism, generating electricity that they could use to power factories.
Well, what if Rome never? What if that's a big lie? What if the lie that they told you is that Rome fell and all these other civilizations popped up? Because I remember I had an art history teacher that explained this to us, that Rome never fell, it just became something else, and what they did was they used religion to conquer countries.
Yeah, they did. They did. So Rome actually, first of all, when Western Rome fell, Eastern Rome, which had been known was Istanbul, didn't fall. So Western Rome fell, but Eastern Rome didn't fall. So you look at the Eastern Rite Orthodox Church, that part of the church is still predominantly was based on the teachings that were continued on in Turkey, for example. because they didn't fall until a lot later on. Okay, so while the rest of Rome was in shambles, the Eastern Roman Empire was still a thing.
See, I remember hearing this too. I don't know how true this is, but you know jihad. You know what that is?
Yeah, I know that
The Romans,
jihad is a holy war.
the Romans the Romans created that. They told these people how to do it, and the reason why first there were Christians there, and then they created this Muslim type of like kind of like mimicking the Roman way of the Roman government of Christianity, of religion, and yeah, I mean, Michelle, I don't think Rome ever fell. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I don't think Rome totally fell, because some of the documents in ancient Rome was preserved by people who understood the importance of it. So that a lot of the clay tablets and the papyrus scrolls were kept. So people did keep some of the information alive. And some of the most active people keeping the information alive was the Catholic Church itself.
Right, and then they gained access to all these countries, and they had all these countries paying taxes.
Yeah, they paid taxes to Rome and to the church.
Yeah. So again, and you know, our city streets are Roman, our plumbing is Roman, our way of life is Roman. We live in a republic. You know, I don't know if Rome actually died off. I kind of feel like it's a big lie that they told everybody to get people like to feel more unlike a slave. And I think they hide a lot of. I think they hide. You know, they hide a lot of technology from you, right? Like you understand that.
Yeah. Well, it's just like the boom and bust cycles in history of even in our own country. So some of the stuff slowly deteriorates away, but somebody out there is going to collect it and is going to preserve it for posterity's sake, and that's what was going on. So people were keeping all the old stuff around, researching it and archiving the notes, because I realized that one day we might need that. And
so there was a huge power struggle in the 30s, right? The 20s and 30s. And they tell you that the victors write history.
right.
If Hitler had won that war, what would the history books be like? You know?
I don't know. That's a great topic for historical fiction, though. Yeah. Maybe somebody could write a book about that, or a movie about that. What if Hitler had one?
So I think they did. It was called like The Man in the High Tower, and you know, it's a fascinating, like, you know, like a story, but it's like, what did they do to us? So the
yes,
Western
Mojo,
powers
I know
want.
about the city of Bath, and also, did you know that the city of Bath actually, I believe it was one of the British cities that actually restored a fully Roman bath to its proper original Roman design. Heating oil with Hippocaust and all the other technology, so you can have hot baths. And it's a restored structure, so that people can experience the actual Roman bath. So,
But so I guess, Michelle, as my question is, if the Western powers win this war, how did they rewrite it? They had to have added their own shit to history to make the other side look like a complete bunch of assholes. They had to have. That's not even up for debate. If the victors write the history, right? What did they add to it?
And one of the first things that they would want to do is make the other side look less capable. Yeah, exactly. That's not a new thing. That really isn't. It's disturbing, but it's true. That is what happens. What a better way
Also,
to
what did
make
they leave out?
what a better way to discredit your opponent, to make them look worse. Even if reality is that your opponent really had better technology in certain areas than you do, you know.
Look what happened to Gaddafi.
Oh, absolutely, Gaddafi and
Look what
other
happened to
people.
Saddam Hussein.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, no one even questions that. You remember the weapons of mass destruction?
Yeah, I remember what I was saying about the WMDs in the past, although it's one of the taboo topics on YouTube, but I'll just touch on it briefly.
Okay.
Um, is that we already know that the United States could not find evidence of WMDs. Okay, we already know that Saddam didn't really have them. But he did have a very experienced set of crack troops that certainly knew how to cause great destruction in his own right.
Everybody does. Every country does.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, but so here's the other thing. When that happened, right? When that happened, how many people just said, they didn't find anything. Let's kill them anyway. And then you know what I'm saying? Like this is. I think that
Okay,
the
guys,
United
I'll
States
talk to
government
you
doesn't get
later.
the United States government doesn't get involved with telling YouTube what to do because they know that YouTube has control over you and they can get you to talk a certain way, and that's what they're using. They're not regulating it. They're not stepping in and saying, "Hey, you can't tell our citizens how to talk, how to speak, how to pray, what to create." That's why they want that. They want that to happen, Michelle. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
Why do you think Rumble went down right before the fucking before the debates?
right.
It's control. It's control.
Full control, yeah.
Nobody's nobody's talking about that. By the way, it's a very big deal. That is a very big deal. Rumble goes down right before the fucking debates. Why?
And yet,
Why? Yeah.
at the same time, Joe Biden really was proven to be the naked emperor, so to speak. The man who's too feeble to even really be president. And now the Democrats know that, right? So again, they may have wanted to destroy all the right wingers, but unfortunately, their own superior chieftain of all the left wingers, because clearly has been proven to be correctly that proven to be that he is definitely not capable, and they didn't like that, you know. Let me just put my nickel underline here for this. I do not think he's qualified to be president. I do have empathy for the family. I have empathy because I understand the debilitating nature of senile dementia or Alzheimer's. I do hope that him and his family are going to fare fine and well, and as he deal with his prognosis and his deterioration. But he's definitely not suitable for being president of the United States. Okay, I wouldn't want this illness on anybody, not even my worst enemy. But he really is not suitable for being president of the United States. Now,
Oh, let's say he is. Let's say he is. He's not doing a good job, Michelle. I mean, come on.
oh, he's not doing a good job either.
I kind of wonder if this whole he's retarded. He can't run anything. It's not our fault. I kind of feel like they don't want to be blamed for any of this stuff. They're going to blame it on a disease. The collapse of a government is going to be blamed on a fucking disease.
We know some people in our group here that are facing family members with such a condition. We know it's debilitating. We know,
Michelle, Michelle, your mother, my mother, your father, my father, right?
Yeah.
They go through stuff, right? They get older. It'll probably happen to you. It'll probably happen to me, right? This is the president of the United States.
Right.
They have doctors around 24/7, right? Fucking a psychiatrist, whatever they needed, it's there. This is the leader of the world, Michelle.
Right.
And you're telling me everyone was just like, oh, there's nothing, but it's completely different from your mom being like this or
Yes,
your dad.
it's different, but it's not different. All right, so let's talk about how it's different. Which means they already knew he had this condition. He already knew he had cognitive decline. He even said he had cognitive decline. And yet, they were acting like, oh, he's going to be okay. When did he say that?
I never heard him say that.
He said that in an interview, I believe, with one of the news channels, that he did acknowledge that he did have a cognitive decline. So the point is they know. They got the medical results to prove it. So the question is...
That's my point. Like, who knows? And let this guy fucking get us into World War III. Let's fucking hang these people. Hang them from the X. If you want to throw someone under a fucking prison, these are the people that do it to. These are the motherfuckers.
Right.
Not friggin' Donald Trump or Rudy Giuliani or anyone like that. It's these people.
And here's the
who
thing
knew that this guy was going through. They got us into World War III. This is crazy.
Here's what I find more alarming. The fact of the matter is, they were hoping to hang Donald Trump out to dry in the debate. Well, why would you knowingly know that your party, standard bearer, Biden, has got the mental decline issues, and why would he want to go up against a man that has got a lot of sharp mind and clear understanding, clear thoughts? It only makes you look worse. I would never have said yes to a debate against Donald Trump. I would have said, no, we're not. But they did it because if they did not go to a debate, then people would still get suspicious anyway and go, what's going on here? He will not debate. He clearly does not want to have interviews. He does not want to do this. He doesn't want to do that. What sort is he hiding? So they sat there and they propped him up with performance-enhancing medications to try to make him look like he's okay, but he looks like a walking zombie. And yet, Donald Trump washes the floor with the guy. After they tried to indict Trump, convict Trump, you think they forgot? Now the Supreme Court says Donald Trump is immune for any political prosecution when he was president of the United States, as serving as president of the United States. So, for doing official presidential duties. So now one guy has the nerve to suggest in Congress that he wants to see Joe Biden issue a drone strike against Donald Trump. That's capital murder. They're saying, listen.
Are you surprised? This is what I'm trying to say. Like, guys, you're in a banana republic right now. Right now, there's going to be something like that. Nobody wants to believe it. Everyone wants to fucking stick their head in the sand and pretend like none of this is going on. This is going on, all right? Regardless of whatever you think about Donald Trump or Rudy Giuliani or this fucking other guy that's getting sentenced to jail for 4 months, they are burying these people based on fucking actions that people have done in the past, right? And never got in trouble for.
Well, maybe you're right. You're right there about Chris Bliss, that maybe it was in a way to prove to the Democrats, look, we told you this guy doesn't have it together. Oh, really? You need a debate to tell you that? Look at his performance record. I mean, debate it's just a stinky frosting on a stinky cake. I mean, now you guys have to rush out and try to find a replacement for the nomination for the Democratic National Committee Convention. Now, why did you allow it to go on this long? They said how to open convention from day one. Day one, and now they're
Michelle, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you why they allowed this to happen. Because people were taking advantage. All right, people were taking advantage of the situation. That's why.
Right now, I'll tell you one thing: is Donald Trump is going to win. I already can tell you that. It's just obviously clear. He's got the vote. He's got the popular vote. He's got the electoral college in the back. He already had it in the bag before the debate. Now he clearly has it in the bag. The Democrats realize they have nobody that can go up against Trump. Trump is the favorite to win because he's got his mind together. He's knowledgeable, and they can't accept that. That the globalist agenda. In fact, the World Economic Forum people have said, please do not let Trump win for the love of God. Well, too bad, because he's going to win, because you put a total enough stumbling zombie up there, and he clearly doesn't know what he's doing. This is kind of what happened in before World War II. The former Kaiser Wilhelm was getting feeble and old. So that's how the Nazi Party got in. Because the Kaiser was too stupid to know what was going on. So that's how the Nazi Party became so strong in Germany before World War II. And that's something to keep in mind, guys. It's the same thing. Again, history repeats. History repeats. And it's going to happen again, unfortunately. So, that's all I could say. Norway to store over 82,000 tons of grain in preparation for war and famine. Absolutely, Stan, and that makes sense. Oh, well, we're giving away our strategic reserves of food and fuel to other countries. Other countries are realizing that they need to have extra resources on hand. I don't know why America thinks that they're going to be able to save themselves when they're giving away their storage and all the reserves that we have. It's almost like we know that we're going to lose. And like I said, it's disturbing, but unfortunately, it is fact. It's just fact that this is happening. And it should be scary enough to think about, to realize that these people know what's going on. They're not stupid. They know it. And so, now...
Well, why didn't the doctor? Why didn't the doctor say something?
His doctors...
Why didn't...
Probably because his doctors were told to keep his mouth shut. By his own
this
cabinet.
This isn't like oh, Joe, MicheleMarieDalene has a rash and the doctor's telling everybody. You know what I'm saying? This is something bigger than that. This is the President of the United States,
right?
Who's got us into World War III.
That guy. But Joe Biden and other cabinet members are telling the doctors, the medical team, to say nothing.
It probably breaks some HIPAA law, but again, this isn't like telling someone that MicheleMarieDalene has a rash. This is the person who just got us into World War III having cognitive issues.
Right. And it's terrifying to think about. Now, finally, the Democrats and many Republicans are saying we need to execute the 25th Amendment. A lot of Republicans already are going through our impeachment process because of what's going on with Korea. But now we're going to have possibly inquiry into the 25th Amendment. So Biden is going to be leaving one way or another. If he loses the impeachment, he's out of there. If he's declared mentally unfit, he's out of there. If they decide to appoint another person for presidential candidate, he's out of there. So it doesn't matter
Michelle, this is the future. This is all you're going to be dealing with. And remember when filibustering was a thing? When people were like, "Oh my God, this filibustering! Oh my God, filibuster this, filibuster that, filibuster." Nothing gets done. Now it's going to be, oh, we're going to try to impeach this person. We're going to arrest fucking Supreme Court justices. We're going to do it. It's going to be non-stop, Michelle.
Yeah.
Non-stop.
Michelle Marie, when Wilhelm II abducted in 1918, you are thinking of Paul von Hindenburg. Okay, thank you very much for the correction. The last German president prior to right, okay, thank you for the correction, Stan. I'm not particularly all that knowledgeable about the German history as much as some people are. Thank you for the correction, Hindenburg. Okay, so the point is all of this is repeating history. And so we already had to deal with 4 years of do nothing Congress. We've already that has all they wanted to do was special favors of spending money and giving free gifts of money to Europe, to Ukraine, and we're not the only country that did this, of course. But we never set any strings attached. We never said, "Hold on, Bucko, you're gonna pay us back when you're done, right? You know that this isn't free money." Oh, but we didn't. We actually said, "No, this is free money, Mr. Zelensky. Take it." And that's ridiculous. You know.
Yeah, take this money and go buy your wife a $4 million car.
Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly. Thank you, Stan, for the correction. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But I agree that living off grid, ideally being out of the urban environment, would make the most sense if you can get out. But the sad truth is that there's not going to be enough places out in the country for everybody. And even if there were, there's no guarantee that everybody is going to be able to live out in the country because they may not have the knowledge to do so. So this is definitely entering the 5th stage of collapse. The 6th stage is wailing and gnashing of teeth, but it also is the time of the great rebuilding. This is like we're having like the equivalent of the 10 of Pentacles, end of a cycle. Actually, more like a 5 of Pentacles. The total disgrace, bankruptcy is happening. So yes, but it's going to become the end of the cycle. The Death card, the Hanged Man is now presented ourselves. The 10 of Swords is also presented ourselves. The time of great despair. Yes, and it is going to have to happen. So the most important thing, guys, is keep calm. And it's boom time. Like Oppenheimer Ranch guy says. No, Diamond says, keep calm, it's boom time. It's just going to happen. So prepare. It's all you can do. The best you can. Video Stan, very cool. I'm a high level function autistic, says Stan. Okay. Well, guys, it is 12:24. Noodles, I thank you for coming up. So
Bye,
no,
Michelle.
we're not having Comedy Flu on here. I had to change the code because of him. And, so I would like to have kept the original code because it was kind of fitting letters MOD, but PUR kind of works. I just think of a water filter, right? A water filter brand called Pure, PUR. Kind of interesting history to that. So let me switch this back to me now. Yeah, it's just it's disturbing, but it's reality. History does repeat itself. And please put a like in the like jar. And everybody, the weather is not going to be as hot as expected, so maybe we can get something done today. We're certainly going to do a video. Yeah, we're going to do a video. You going to get some more stuff at the store? Yeah, I'm going to get some more stuff at the store. But for now, everybody go out there, stay safe, keep cool, and be safe. Amen. And for some of you in parts of the United States, you have some unstable weather coming in. Please be careful for tornadoes and also severe lightning strikes. This is really, really weird weather, a lot of instability in the environment right now. Yes, I'm going to Cumbies again. Maybe I can try to get the video out a little sooner. 7 o'clock tonight, we're going to have 2 movies. I'm going to randomly grab 2 new ones out of the queue of videos we've downloaded. So it's going to be Mulligan Stew tonight. But, yeah, why not? We got some movies worth watching. We got to get caught up before I save them over to DVDs and things like that. Or maybe get some Blu-ray media and save them as Blu-ray files. But for now, everybody go out there and I'll see you stay safe, okay? Bye-bye. Bye-bye, guys.